A man was flying a plane when he suddenly encountered a massive swarm of bees ahead, unable to react in time. He flew straight into the swarm as countless bees poured into the cockpit in a panic. The pilot made a critical error. He increased altitude hoping to escape the swarm. Unfortunately, a commercial airliner was approaching from the opposite direction. The two aircraft collided violently. The captain was instantly sucked out of the plane, and the passenger aircraft suffered a massive tear in its fuselage. Chaos erupted throughout the cabin. Officer Athena assessed the cockpit situation and realized that without immediate action, everyone would die. She struggled to reach the cockpit where she found the co-pilot severely injured but still gripping the controls. With his last bit of strength, he managed to engage the autopilot to stabilize the aircraft before losing consciousness. Athena immediately tried to contact air traffic control, but the impact had damaged the radio. Noticing her cell phone still had signal, she called 911. The emergency operator quickly connected her with air traffic control. With no other pilots on board, the situation was dire. Athena tried to revive the co-pilot, but he remained unconscious. Many passengers were injured from the collision, and the tear in the upper fuselage was growing larger if conditions continued worsening. Everyone would perish, keeping her composure. Athena instructed the flight attendants to relocate all passengers to the front of the cabin, reassuring everyone that cooperation was essential for survival. Air traffic control called back with a flight instructor on the line who would guide Athena through operating the aircraft despite having zero flight experience. She accepted this tremendous responsibility for everyone's safety. The instructor first directed her to turn the plane around, but she had no idea which controls to use. Fortunately, a young boy who was passionate about aviation stepped forward to help with his guidance. Athena successfully turned the aircraft around. Meanwhile, a female passenger had suffered a severe leg fracture during the collision. Ground emergency personnel advised creating a temporary splint. A passenger quickly repurposed a suitcase handle while another provided neckties to secure the makeshift splint. They soon noticed the woman's leg was swelling dramatically and had lost its pulse. The rescue personnel recognized these symptoms as compartment syndrome. Without cutting open the fascia in her leg, she could lose the limb entirely. With all knives confiscated during boarding, they had no cutting tools. Resourcefully, a passenger fashioned a sharp blade by heating and reshaping a toothbrush with a lighter. Though he created the tool, he couldn't bring himself to perform the procedure. A chef among the passengers took the improvised knife and, under guidance from firefighters on the ground, nervously began the emergency procedure on the woman's leg. Color gradually returned to her leg and her pulse became detectable. Everyone applauded as they successfully saved her limb. Just as they celebrated this small victory, the tear in the fuselage suddenly expanded. Loose items were instantly sucked out, and the aircraft lost stability, plunging into a rapid descent. Frozen with fear, Athena couldn't process the flight instructor's technical instructions. In this critical moment, the aviation enthusiast boy reappeared, explaining they needed to accelerate, following the instructor's guidance over the phone. The boy gripped the control yoke, gradually leveling the plane parallel to the horizon while directing Athena to adjust the throttle. The danger wasn't over. As the tear continued expanding, the plane risked breaking apart completely. Their only option was to land as soon as possible. Air traffic control immediately halted all flights and mobilized the entire fire department to prepare for an emergency landing. They cleared Los Angeles Airport for their arrival, bringing Athena some relief. They were instructed to reduce altitude and align with the runway. During descent, a large section of the top fuselage tore away, damaging the rudder. The plane failed to respond to controls, and with only 20 minutes of fuel remaining, disaster loomed larger. Air traffic control concluded they wouldn't reach Los Angeles Airport. With the damaged rudder, their chances of a successful landing were extremely low. Their priority shifted to avoiding densely populated areas to minimize ground casualties. Athena refused to give up, pleading for any chance at a safe landing. Just then, her husband Bobby called. He had seen the news reports. Athena told him they had only 6 minutes of fuel left and likely wouldn't survive. As she prepared to say goodbye, Bobby asked which direction they were flying. Hearing they were heading northward toward less populated areas, he asked how much runway they would need. Bobby replied. His response rekindled hope. Athena informed air traffic control they would attempt landing on the highway. Despite it being rush hour, Bobby, driving a fire truck, blocked traffic from one direction while his colleague on a motorcycle stopped vehicles coming from the opposite direction, transforming the highway into a makeshift runway. Athena and the boy lowered the landing gear and announced over the intercom that they were attempting an emergency landing. They couldn't guarantee the outcome but promised to do everything possible. When asked if he had anything to add, the boy silently activated the fasten seatbelt sign. Bobby waited on the highway, refusing to leave despite the danger.
I see you.
I see you too. I love you.
Tell me in person.
They deployed the flaps in sequence as air traffic control guided them on altitude adjustments. At 400 feet, they disengaged the autopilot and gripped the controls firmly.
officers!
With coordinated efforts from everyone involved, the aircraft finally touched down safely. Everyone erupted in celebration of their miraculous survival.